Other news that the Sama one person has been killed in an explosion apparently linked to illegal mining at Braamfischerville in Soweto, just south of Johannesburg yesterday. Our Johannesburg EMS says the explosion occurred after dynamite sticks were connected to a vehicle battery. We are going to unpack the ongoing crisis of illegal mining in South Africa, the dangers that they impose to communities around them. For that chat, we're going to be joined via Zoom by Peter Major, Director of Mining at Modern Capital Solution. Peter, good afternoon. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Me.
Peter, perhaps at this point we could speak to some of the driving factors of illegal mining in South Africa and really the risks associated at large for those involved, perhaps also the surrounding community members.
Boy, it's hard to say where to start. Mining is a high impact industry on the environment, and it does have an effect, especially open pit mining compared to underground mining. Both have an effect on surrounding communities. And it's fair to say South Africa had the greatest mine industry in the world up until 1980, 81. Its market cap was almost equal to every other mine in the world put together then. We led the world in deep level underground mining. I think we led the world in putting the number of men down shafts every day, safely and economically. Led the world in safety, 5-star ratings for such deep level mines. But it's policies that were shaped over 100 years that were impacted by the new government. And it was new policies that were not well thought through. And it was layer and layer of hundreds and then thousands of changes in mining legislation and policies. And if you don't think through one piece of legislation, it can have detrimental effects. But when you pass dozens and hundreds of pieces of legislation, and these legislative changes are made by people that don't understand the industry, they don't understand government. And not only has it resulted in 500,000 gold miners losing their jobs, great jobs, good income, good benefits that would have benefited their children forever, not only did we close the world's greatest mining industry effectively, but we've created a subterranean industry, literally, of 40,000 illegal miners that's growing by the day, and it's out of control. It's anarchy, and we're seeing it every day. You know, they're destroying existing mining infrastructure. They're destroying community infrastructure. There's a lot of stealing. There's a lot of slave labor going involved. They're pinching electricity, water pipes, anything. And a lot of these are probably genuine good people that have lost their jobs, that have no other source of income, but it's allowed syndicates to come in, criminal organizations, local and international. And I can ramble on forever. I don't know if I'm saying anything that everybody doesn't already know, but this is a government-created problem, and it's got to have government's involvement and recognition of it to even start fixing it.
Peter, thank you for those sentiments. You've spoken about policies and the measures put in place. We obviously also seen the Mineral and Petroleum Resources Development Act, which criminalizes illegal mining at this point. But as you alluded to, the enforcement of it is raising concerns at this point. There's also the sealing of derelict mines that comes to the fore. States at this point can seal about 40 holes per year. And obviously it's going to take much longer to seal some of the other mines. I wonder how you'd weigh in on some of the strategies employed at this point, given both the short and long-term effects it has, not only for those who are operating illegally, but for the community at large. There's economic losses and concerns about security for the state as well.
A lot of this could be solved by all parties working together. If communities worked with mining companies, they all work together with the unions, if they work together with all of the government organizations like the Department of Mines, the Department of Labor, with the police, that alone could go a long ways to fixing the problem here. But if all those factions are fighting with each other instead of working together, and if you say, it's really hard to say how to start to fix this, because you can say we don't have enough police. You can say, well, the community doesn't respect law and order because a lot of the community members are involved in illegal mining. You can say a lot of government employees are involved one way or another, turning a blind eye. If we go back to your question, what else needs to be done? First of all, recognition. Second of all, take off some of the negative legislation and work with industry. Quit attacking industry. Quit thinking that the mining industry is the problem or is your enemy, and work with them. And realize mining is a high risk, high capital industry. It needs a lot of capital injected every year to keep it going. It doesn't always make a lot of money either. So quit talking about super profits, mega profits, extreme profits, and don't be trying to tell the mining industry who they can hire, who they can fire, who they have to buy from, who they have to make partners. That has dried up all investment in mining. So they barely have enough money to keep themselves alive, let alone grow more mines, put more people to work.
So how would you quantify the cost to South Africa's economy at this point due to the illicit activity? And as we perhaps look at the situation in Johannesburg, the issue of underground activities have come to the fore following the Johannesburg CBD explosion. But we did have a statement from the city of Johannesburg saying that it wasn't linked to any activity. But let's say we are looking at illicit activity in mining. How severe is this problem? And if it's not attended to, what is the reality of the future in Johannesburg?
It is gigantic. It's incalculable. It's definitely in tens of billions of rands, and I'm not exaggerating. And I'll bet you could show it costs the country 100 billion rand a year. If you look at the infrastructure that's being tore apart, if you look at the terror and crime that surrounds illegal mining, and yes, this Johannesburg blast, it's probably not the result of illegal mining, just all the effects of it. I look at the videos of how it happened and where it happened. But a lot of these similar problems are from illegal mining in the mining communities. It's incalculable, really, just by losing production. It's cost us probably 100 billion a year in lost production. If this industry was so large in 1980, we were larger than the Australian mining industry. And today, the coal division of Australia mining, I think, is 4 times bigger than our whole mining industry put together. That means our gold, diamonds, platinum, coal, manganese, iron ore. I can go on and on. The magnitude of how we've gone backwards, the average man hasn't a clue. I don't think the average government minister has a clue how far we've gone backwards. We were a large, powerful mining country for 100 years, and we have gone so fast in reverse. So 100 billion we've lost a year in mineral production, and probably 50 to 100 billion a year in infrastructure destruction, crime, commodities being produced that can't be taxed.